Better JT, James Taylor, Justin Timberlake.
I got to go with JT, Justin Timberlake. I have to go with Justin Timberlake.
All right, I'm not mad at you. We have an age gap.
Shut up and sit down.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by Bay Care Clinic, Cobblestone Creek, University of Wisconsin-Platteville, Roll Tech, Festival Foods, Capital Credit Union, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, American Family Insurance, Miller Lite, and Aaron's Company.
What is up, Wisconsin? From the Inside Wisconsin studios, I'm 9 minutes away from Lambeau. I timed it. Trevor Thomas with you, and that's John Anderson. A little longer than 9 minutes away at the moment, but you're coming back soon.
What were you previously?
Like 10 and a half minutes, something like that. Yep. I am now officially closer to Lambeau. And there's a little construction that might make it even closer, but let's be honest, you can get anywhere here.
You always say you're in the shadow of Lambeau Field. That's a long shadow, 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair. But you can literally get anywhere in Green Bay in 10 minutes.
You're still closer than I am.
Yeah, for a minute. Yep.
Why do you think I want to do this show? I'm trying to stay connected because I can't seem to find a job in Wisconsin anywhere. I mean, come on. You'd think somewhere along the line somebody would hire me. Maybe I'm that terrible. I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you about the 2 jobs I didn't get in Wisconsin.
I feel like that's a John Wisconsin that we'll get to at some point.
Actually, there were 3 that I didn't get. So these things happen. But wow. Good time of the season, right? The Bucks, they exited. It wasn't what we had hoped there, but yeah. I'm one of those guys that I can ride a championship a long way. So I can live with that. It's okay. Makes the people here in Boston, it makes them insufferable, but there they are a lot of it. Brewers, really nice first 50 games. They're out in front. They're kind of controlling that division. OTAs are starting because, as you know, the NFL is just a year-round cycle when it goes through. We're inside 100 days until college football, like 90.
Wow.
Like things are happening, man.
Moving, man. I remember a time.
Oh, by the way, regardless of what any of those things are, because you can do it 365 days a year. You can get Festival Foods or drink a Miller Lite. So I'm just going to say that.
Right. We'll cover that.
Going on.
We'll cover that.
Yeah.
Do you remember a time, John, when by the time the Packers season started, the Brewers were like already out of the hunt? So, I mean, this is going really well. The Badgers have been good. The Brewers are good. The Packers have been really good. The Bucks were clearly really good. This is a good time to be a Wisconsin guy.
We are in tall cotton is what they like to say. It is. Yeah, we're excited about that. That it's happening. And because there have been, we're not like the Cubs, because as you know, the Cubs is a euphemism, completely useless by September.
Yes,
so we've got that going, but
we need to do more Cubs bashing on this show. I feel like we haven't done enough.
Sign me up. We'll do a whole show.
Yeah, I'm down.
We'll bring on Cub fans I know, and we'll talk for a minute.
You're gonna call a Cubs fan literally right now. This is actually gonna be. Oh, that's great.
But here's who we're going to call next time, okay?
Don't show his number. Yeah.
Where am I?
I can't quite make it out. It is?
It's David Ross. It's the manager.
Oh, the David Ross. Yes, let's
call
him.
David Ross. We'll harass him.
Okay, good. You said David Ross.
Come on Wisconsin. That'll be great. We'll have him come on, and we'll just pound on him. He'll be great.
We'll call it non-Wisconsin. That could be really fun, actually.
I love it. We do non-Wisconsin. We'll do him. So, but this one, we're all Wisconsin.
We're on Wisconsin.
Is sort of like, I don't know if there's royalty to sports positions here in Green Bay or in Wisconsin. I think being the quarterback of the Packers is kind of like that. You know how they used to say if you were the quarterback at Notre Dame, that's a royal position. Like I think if you're the tailback at the University of Wisconsin, and you follow guys like Ron Dane or Melvin Gordon or Monte Ball, or even go back to Jamar Fletcher and Brent Moss, PJ Hill. Like if you're in that line, like that's a good line to get in. And our guy today, Jonathan Taylor, in that line and doesn't leave school early. He's the head of the line.
Yeah, he's in the line. Like he started the line. Jonathan
right now,
Taylor.
All-time rushers, he's 2 in the line. And that was with 3 seasons.
Man.
I
could
feel
have been
like you and
number
I
one.
should shut up and let's listen to him.
JT. John, I know you're a track guy, but can we just be honest? He's way faster than us. That's Jonathan Taylor with the Colts. And of course, a Badger, gonna be alum. We'll get to that. JT, welcome to Inside Wisconsin.
How are you, man? It's a pleasure for you guys to have me on.
Thank you very much. You know, the fastest Badger running back, as long as you're going to poke me about being a track guy, Michael Bennett was really, really fast back in the day. He could go. Let's talk about this. We're here because we were trying to figure out when will we get Jonathan Taylor. How is this going to work? And we had to wait because you were registering for classes. Dude, you got a full-time job. What's with the schooling that we're working on here?
Yeah, so I've been taking classes ever since I left school. I've never stopped taking classes. So just making sure that I continue on the same path to make sure that I'm able to get that degree.
So what do we sign up for? What's in our fall semester here?
This semester, it was a little bit lighter semester. Just making sure that I got some of my electives in. I had a big bulk of electives. So there's, one about kinesiology, but it's like an elective kind of course, not actual kinesiology like 127 or something like that. And then I also took this one kind of digital media class, but it really goes in depth on how to properly use social media and as far as how to reach a specific audience that you're trying to reach, rather than just teaching about, okay, you're on social media, these are how you can convey messages to people, but really how can you target different audiences.
I'm
I
trying
messed that up,
to.
yeah, you got a summer semester. I forgot. I'm worried about fall, but getting my kids back. You got a summer semester to take care of, which is good. Doesn't interfere with their OTAs.
You have to make sure the work comes first.
I'm trying to spell kinesiology. It's not working out. So I'm going to give up. It's just kinesi. Bless you. Got it. You're good. So JT, that's cool, right? Because it's back at Wisconsin. We're not sad that you left. We're happy that we had you for 3 years, right? I mean, like, this was an amazing 3 years, and we know that Wisconsin had an impact on you, man. Like Jersey to Wisconsin, but there was a lot of Wisconsin that stuck with you. So talk to us about your time here in Madison.
My time in Madison was wonderful. I was really able to not get out my comfort zone, but I was able to experience things that I've never experienced before. Just one being the lakes out in the Midwest, just being able to experience that, being a Jersey guy, always going to the shore, and you get in about up to your stomach. You can get in a little deep, but you're never full out in the middle of the ocean. So for the first time being out there and being able to have fun and jump off of different pontoons in the lake and relax with friends, it was a new scene for me, but it ended up being something that I realized I really, really enjoy. Just having that different mindset, being from the East Coast, you're never really in the middle of the ocean. So being in the middle of a lake was a new scene for me. But even at school, developing new relationships, not with only teammates, but with students on campus. So being able to be away from home for the first time, being on your own, learning how to do different things by yourself, it's something that it's really priceless. And I know a lot of people go to school close to home sometimes. Just it's family, friends. You're able to have that support system, but it's really a different experience when you're able to go out on your own for the first time and kind of do things on your own for a bit, and you kind of fall back on those lessons that your parents have taught you over the course of the years you were staying with them.
Yeah, there's certainly a maturity that comes, and I tell my kids all the time, you have class hours, but a lot of college is what you learn in between class and outside of the classroom. So how does a guy get from New Jersey to Madison? I mean, did Ron Dane come pick you up? How'd you end up there?
So it was really a long process. I really didn't start getting recruited heavily by Power 5 schools until my junior year, kind of halfway towards the end of my junior year. But there was one guy who was from my area, really close. He was from Glassboro, New Jersey, which is about 20 minutes down the road from me. Corey Clement, who's now with he was with the Dallas Cowboys. Seeing him when I was in 8th grade, he was in high school. just complete terrorizing South Jersey. Watching him, that kind of sparked the work ethic to want to really pursue and try to see how I could push my body and my mind in the game of football. That kind of jump started that. Then seeing the success he had at Wisconsin, and then eventually making that transfer into the league. It was a factor, but I would say that kind of jump started everything. So of course, once I started getting recruited by these Power Five schools, I had to look at Wisconsin, being as though Corey Clement, who was 20 minutes down the road from me,
Mhm.
went through the same process, played the same high schools that I played against, and started having success there. I had to take a look. The one deal breaker for me, I always have enjoyed school, enjoyed learning, always wanted to push myself in the classroom. So doing research on various offers that I had, I found out that the University of Wisconsin was a top 20 academic institution. And that was kind of really the deal breaker for me. I felt like I had the best of both worlds as far as pushing myself academically in the books, but also being able to push myself on the field against some of the best around the country, coming from a small school.
Mhm.
How
Yeah,
was
that's a big deal maker right there, man. I'm in on that.
I was going to ask, how is the difference when you got to Madison and you did the tour and you fell in love with campus and the whole thing that could be from academics to sports, but there's a difference from the East Coast culture and Wisconsin. Let's be honest. I mean, how'd you settle into the land of cheese here, JT?
Really understanding that there are really nice people in this world. A lot of people think of that Northeast Jersey, New York area, which is very reasonable, fast paced, not too many conversations going on. Everyone's hustling, getting to where they need to go. But in the Midwest, everyone really takes their time, very polite, whether you're just walking to class, whether you're walking your dog, you're going to the grocery store. Hi, how are you? Nice day we're having, isn't it? So just those small conversations that you may have, and you may not even describe them as conversations, just those small interactions that you may have with someone is very different in the Midwest than the East Coast. In the East Coast, you may not even have that interaction. You may not even look necessarily at a person you're walking by. You're focused on your task. It's very high paced. So just getting adjusted to, if I'm walking past someone, it's not a second guess to say, how are you? Great day we're having. Hi, how are you doing? That was a big adjustment for me, just because I assumed that everyone wanted to talk. And this is in the summer as soon as I got to Madison. So before
Mhm.
I even stepped foot on the field, everyone was just really nice. So that was a new adjustment to me. Is just how nice everyone was in the Midwest. And it's really, really lighthearted and uplifting.
More of that transition into college, though. How does a guy come in? And you're right, you're recruited, but there's a stable of backs. And at Wisconsin, like what it means to be the starting tailback. That means like 300 carries and big offensive linemen with big hole. Like that's a really good job in colleges to be the starting tailback at Wisconsin. How when you show up and the depth chart's made and you're a freshman, no freshman usually is on the on the top of the depth chart. How'd you work your way out so they're noticed so that all of a sudden here you are dominating as a freshman?
Like you mentioned, it's a big deal to be the starting tailback at the University of Wisconsin. So what it takes to get there is you have to be a sponge. You have to be able to listen to the coaching, not necessarily the coaching that's given to you, but the coaching that's given to other players. So you may be in the meeting room and coach is coaching up another back. Just listen to how he coached this other back. Is that something that I would have done if I was in the situation that he was in? Now I know it's a good thing I wasn't in that situation because I would have done the wrong thing. But now at least you know the correct way to do things. And that's something that I was told as soon as I got there from the older guys in the room. Chris James, Taiwan Dale was be a sponge. No matter who's getting coached up, no matter what the principle is, listen, because you never know when you're going to be in that situation. So, as far as getting in there and realizing I had a lot of work to do, They're not just going to let you get on the field at the University of Wisconsin, especially at the running back position. You have to earn it. So, in the combination of working hard, but also really being a sponge and taking the coaching, and then that ties into also executing that on the field as well. So, making sure after you get the coaching points, can you execute that on the field? That lets the coaches, that lets the teammates know I can trust Jonathan Taylor if he's on the field, because I've seen him do it multiple times throughout this past week, this camp, every single day. He does things the correct way. And that's the biggest thing, is building trust with your coaches.
You tell a story, JT, of the coaching coming, or maybe the pats in the back from your teammates too. You told the story and reminisced how the first pass that you were throwing as a Badger, you dropped, right? And you went back into that huddle and got a pat on the back and said, hey, man, it's all good. We got your back. Do you remember who that offensive lineman was, and how much did that set you up for success in your career from that day forward?
Oh, definitely. It was Tyler Biadasz, Michael Dieter. Those guys, said, don't worry about it. It was the very, very first play I was in. It was the very first thing that I did when I touched the field at the University of Wisconsin in a game. And from that point on, I knew, we were in it for better or for worse. It was, we're going to win together. We're going to lose together. No matter what happens, everyone in that huddle, all 10 other guys, are locked in, ready, and we have each other's back. So then I was able to go out there and realize that we're doing this thing together. So I know throughout the week we practice together, we've studied, we watched film together. Now let's execute together. And part of executing together is making sure I hold up my end of the bargain. So from there on out, it was, I know I'm going to make sure that I hold up my end of the bargain, because all 10 other guys on that field are holding up their end as well. So I need to make sure that I do my part, because they're trusting that I will, and I'm trusting that they'll do their part.
What's it like when the coach comes up and says, hey, I need a second, and then he tells you you're going to be the starting running back? Do we go crazy? Do we call home? Do I go in a room and scream? What was that moment like when they came and said that to you?
So at that point, you really just understand that the standard is the standard, and all of the work that you put in, everything that you did up until that point, it's time to execute that. They thought that, hey, we trust you. We trust your preparation. We trust how you go about your week. We trust how you take care of your body. Now I need to prove the coaches right. That's the biggest thing. I need to prove the coaches and the teammates right, that, hey, we trust you enough to put you on the field. So that was my first thought in my head. It's time to prove you right. I won't let you guys down. It's time to put this thing into action. And from there on out, it was all about just proving the coaches right. Like, you made the right decision. I will make sure I execute every single time I'm on the field.
More with Jonathan Taylor, former Badger, Indianapolis Colt. We're back in a bit. Inside Wisconsin.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by Baycare Clinic, Cobblestone Creek, University of Wisconsin-Platteville, Roll Tech, Festival Foods, Capital Credit Union, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, American Family Insurance, Miller Lite, and Aaron's Company.
Helpful critiques, ideas, great stories, people we should know, the great bar in your town, the fish fry you want to know, the fish boil, anything that you want to reach out to us with. We are happy. We are here. You can be the inputters. We're here to listen.
John, we talk a lot about grilling. We've done this before. We're going to do it again. I love to run the grill, but I'm starting to learn that there are levels of value of beef. Tell me more about this certified Angus beef. What am I missing?
Well, nothing if you get certified Angus beef. That's the high end, right? Do you know how to do your hamburger like at 80% or 90% lean, or do you do that, or do you?
Yeah, I've heard of this. Yeah. That one's is it ground chuck versus ground roast, or
no? It just depends how lean it is, right? And
what's a tri-tip?
Sometimes you don't want to do. It's just like that. It's a piece of steak. It's a cut of steak. Okay. The Angus, right? So I spent enough time in Missouri that you've seen. Do you know what an Angus cow looks like? It's the black one.
Yeah, all black. I knew that.
Right. So if they got dots, they're giving milk.
Okay,
they're all black.
Dots, milk, all black cows.
Little shaggy, then that's your Angus, right? And literally, them's good eating.
So when Festival Foods is highlighting the tri-tip cut of certified Angus beef, that's like the cat's meow.
That's the high end. That's all we're saying. What they're saying is this is the good stuff. They just, everybody's got different terms.
I'm in.
Right? If it's an Angus, certified Angus, it's a really good piece of beef.
And you can find it at Festival Foods. Go to festfoods.com. Look up some of the recipes that they have on there for their tri-tip cut of beef in the certified Angus beef category at Festival Foods.
And then again, if it's got spots,
that's back in the dairy section.
Correct.
Yeah, noted.
Back in Inside Wisconsin, our guest Jonathan Taylor. Get back to him momentarily, but in the spirit of Jonathan Taylor, in the spirit of JT, our top five JTs. But here's what I'm going to give you the candidates, and you're going to have to rank them. All right?
Okay. I'm ready.
Some JTs, and you're just going to tell me. Okay? So we've got Jonathan Taylor. We'll put him in there. We'll put JT, Justin Thomas, right? PJ champ.
Yep.
The original JT, I think, James Taylor.
Okay.
Right? How sweet it is to be loved by you.
Yes.
How about JT Snow? And I bring him only because without first baseman, California Angels, San Francisco Giants, without him, remember, Dusty Baker's young son gets run over in the World Series and we never hear from him again. But he's the guy that, remember that little Darren Baker? And there was the guy coming at home plate and JT grabs the kid. He was playing a bat boy. He's about 4 years old. Rips him out of the way. So that
I do remember that.
Great humanitarian, right? We got to have him. And I just didn't want to make that so easy. So I threw in JT Realmuto just so we have a current JT from baseball, Phillies catcher.
Mm-hmm.
How about Justin Timberlake?
Yeah. Okay.
And then, as you know, I'm a barometer of what's hip in America.
Totally.
But there's apparently a rapper, Jatavia Shakara Johnson from Miami, she goes by the name of JT. So there you go. You got this the rapper from Miami, the female rapper from JT, James Taylor, Justin Thomas, Justin Timberlake, Jonathan Taylor, JT Snow, JT Realmuto. Give me your top five.
Right. I thought you were going to give me a Jonathan Taylor Thomas, like a JTT from the old Home Improvement days. He didn't make your cut.
Okay, this is like Family Feud. If you choose to go off the board, you can.
And the big X hits. You know damn well Craig's going to put that up there. All right,
What do you got?
Number one, Jonathan Taylor.
We go. No, who are you number one?
I'm nervous because the last time I got these wrong, I haven't lived it down friggin' since. So sorry. You know who my number one is.
By the way, what is that guy's initials?
Joe Thomas, JT. Why didn't he?
I saved you there. I tried to get you out of this, and you just sucked it right back in.
Damn it, son of a bitch.
You just decided that here's a cliff. Maybe I'll just walk off it. Okay, so we're gonna Joe Thomas. I'm trying to be a good person here. Okay,
it's not working.
And not bringing in the Joe Thomas thing. So I left Joe Thomas off.
Okay, all right. Number 5, James Taylor, great musician.
Oh my God,
how sweet it is. That was wrong. All right. Number 4. I'll go the rapper from Miami because I have no clue who that person is.
Okay.
But I'll do a little research. Number 3, let's go Justin Timberlake. That guy's on a lot in this house. Big fan of his music. Number 2, Justin Thomas. I actually got to meet Justin Thomas. It was a split second worth, but when I was walking around for the Ryder Cup here in Wisconsin, that was a blast. And man, talk about dialed in. That dude was dialed in. And number 1, Jonathan Taylor, our guest today on Wisconsin.
You are a homer. You're totally a homer.
If this does this not give it away that I'm a homer? All of this, yes, I am a homer.
So the correct answers are.
Got it. All right, I'll take these.
Justin Timberlake 5, JT Snow 4 because he saved a life. Jonathan Taylor 3. Then we're going Justin Thomas because I'm just a golf guy, and then James Taylor is the original JT.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor can move up. I have no doubt. But right now he's a solid. I'm launching number 3. So, and then we're just gonna let the other part go
right off into the sunset. All right, we'll let it go for this episode.
Now to Jonathan Taylor.
We are back inside Wisconsin. Trevor, John, and not a former Badger. Once a Badger, always a Badger. I ate that off camera. That's Jonathan Taylor with the Indianapolis Colts, and he's still a Badger, still taking classes, and lots of time covered in Madison. Let's get to a little bit of that. So one of the most Wisconsin things I think you can do, JT, is buy into like a Wisconsin franchise maybe after you leave Madison. There's a late night Toppers Sticks story that led to this whole Toppers Pizza thing. The floor is yours, sir. What's the story?
So I used to live down the street from Toppers on Regent. And one thing coming out of college, after sitting down, speaking with members of my team, the first thing that we really talked about was what are some things that you enjoy, what are some things that you love, while you're in school, when you're in high school, like who is Jonathan Taylor? What are some things that you love to do? And of course, Toppers Pizza was one of the first things that I mentioned, just from living right down the street from Toppers Pizza on Regent. There was a lot of times, a lot of days, a lot of nights, you just get on out your bed, put your shoes on, and you take that 2-minute walk, and you can satisfy your hunger easily every single time. So that was one of the first things that came up. And it was actually interesting because, at that point in time, just coming out of college, you're getting hit with a whirlwind of things. Especially being an offensive player, you have marketing, you have media. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I may be able to, have a basic deal or an endorsement with Toppers. I mean, that would be amazing. That would be huge because I literally, I love Toppers. I've went to Toppers multiple times throughout a week, especially my freshman year. I kind of tightened up as the years went on, as I got more in tune with nutrition. But and it was actually interesting because after meeting the owner, Scott, and sitting down, speaking with him, it was actually his idea to do something a little more unique and different than just a normal, kid coming out of college, an endorsement deal. He actually brought up the fact of, hey, would you want to be a part of this? And it kind of struck me by surprise. I'm like, is he offering me a job? Do I want to be a part of Toppers Pizza? Do I need a job? I'm like, well, I probably have my hands full in my head. And then as we, talked about it and worked through it, I mean, it was amazing that, he thought of the idea of doing something like this. And I was all in. I'm like, if I can be a part of something like that, knowing that I spent countless nights and afternoons before tests, after exams, going to Toppers Pizza, I'm all for it. I love the brand. I love everything about it. So it was interesting because it was the owner. It was Scott's idea to do something different like that.
JT, it's a triple order, right? That's what they call it, a triple order of Topper Sticks. Am I getting that right? John, have you ever had a triple order of Topper Sticks? Because you need to if you haven't.
No, but right now I'm just like, did you think he wanted you to be a delivery driver? I'm like, what do you mean? Did you think we're going to get a job here? Like,
and that
caught
me by
JT just
surprise.
delivered me a pizza? Like, that'd be crazy.
And that it caught me by surprise just when he said you want to be a part of this. Just college kid, you're not really talking about equity and different businesses and franchise. You're not talking about those things. You're not thinking about those things at that point in time. So
Sure.
For him to think of that, for him to want to have me be a part of the Toppers Pizza franchise, it was amazing. It was huge. And I still love it to this day. It's been amazing. Ever since I've left school, it's been amazing to just be really a part of it, not just someone who's aligned with Toppers Pizza or is an ambassador. I'm a part of it.
Tell me about game day in Madison, because you don't get to do the tailgate stuff, but you still get a full lot of that whole atmosphere when you're out there. And I feel like that's a special deal, 6-7 times each fall.
It's nothing like it. Like you mentioned, we don't get the tailgating and the things that lead up to game day, and we still get a heck of an experience. So I know for the fans, it is mind-blowing, like just completely mind-blowing. But for the players, it's still electrifying. One, just because Camp Randall, there is no place like Camp Randall. So for us to get that electrifying feeling like no other, just off of game day, like let alone the things that lead up to game day and all of the fun that people have outside of the stadium. It's truly why I think it's been rated, the number one, college town in the country, because even as a player, as a fan, you are getting a second to none experience. It's something you can't explain until you've been there. Don't get me started on jump around. That's a whole different story.
That's what I
I'm
was
just
going to say
talking about the
next.
game, just the game. Like, I'm just talking about the game day experience. Jump around is a whole separate deal.
I was just going to say, do you remember the first reaction, your first jump around? You're there at Camp Randall. You probably were tipped off, and the third quarter ends, and the music hits, and your reaction was, what?
Yeah, so I went to a small high school. We had 300 kids in the school. I graduated with a class of about 60, so it was about 30 guys on the football team. And like I said, I was really locked in, especially my first game. I was really locked in, just focused, making sure I'm doing everything exactly how the coach coached it. And it wasn't until, like you said, the end of the third, there's kind of that break and they do the student section race. And I really realized that in high school, the largest game I played in was probably my Thanksgiving game senior year. We always had a Thanksgiving Day game in the morning, and it was about 1,000 people there. So that was the first time I got to step back from being locked in, and I realized it's like 80 plus thousand fans here. I'm like, it is a lot of people here. I'm just looking all around the stadium, like, this is a lot of people. And I don't think I realized how many people I was playing in front of until that happened. My first jump around, where I got to literally look around the entire stadium and watching everyone jump out of their seats. That was the first time I realized, like, okay, this is definitely 80 plus thousand people. I've never played in front of this many people. And throughout the whole game, I was not worried about the fans at all until that point in time. I'm like, oh, crap.
We touched on the drop pass. Give me, in those 6,000 yards you have, if I want to go say, here, I want to carry that says this is Jonathan Taylor's career, that he wants to hang his hat on for his 3 seasons at Madison. I don't care if it's 80 or if it's 3 yards. Give me a carry that I should go look at that says this is me and this is what I was about as a football player at Madison.
I would really say one play, if I had to define it, it would have to be, I would probably go with one of my second touchdown, but I believe it was versus FIU, and I had the wrong read. And I kind of bounced it outside, and there were 2 guys there. I kind of made a stop and go move. I lowered my right shoulder and ran through a tackle. And it wasn't a super long touchdown. It was only like 20 or 30 yards. But it was just, to me, that point in time was letting the coaches know, you can trust me. Like, I want to make the right read. I'm going to try everything in my power to make the right read. But if I happen to screw up or happen to mess up, I'm going to make it right. Like, I'm going to make it right. And our running back coach, John Settle, he always said, there was this run we had called Panther. And he said, if you take Panther backside, you're on your own. And I just wanted to cut. Like, I think that run shows the coaches and teammates that we're all not perfect. We all know that we're not perfect. We always chase that perfect game. But if I happen to slip up, I'm going to make you right. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to correct it. And you guys can trust me.
Let's spin this forward, because you got a job now with the Indianapolis Colts. Seems like it's a good job, pays well. Last year, just your second year, but clearly a breakout year. When you look at that and people go, my God, that's almost 1,900 yards and 300 carries, do you think, that's sort of what I do? Usually it's 2,000 and about 325. I feel like people were shocked by that number. What was your assessment of that season?
like you mentioned, once you get that close, it's like, then it's like, okay, this is real. Like 1800, you can reach 2000. Like,
Right.
that's that. Once you get that close,
Because
so
you've
my
been
first
there.
year, yeah. So my first year, just coming in, and not only myself, every single rookie that came in the 2020 class. I mean, we literally had everything virtual. The first time I actually got on-field reps was during my first NFL camp. So learning a new system, a new offense, virtually, and then coming in bullets flying. Just grasping everything in the playbook that entire first year. It was, sometimes the playbook is changing, and you're worried about, okay, what's my assignment? How do I complete my assignment at a high level? You're doing a bunch of things, and then going into my second year, being more comfortable with the system, I really could focus everything on how to complete my assignment at a high level. And like you mentioned, I always kept this from college. The standard is the standard. So once
Mhm.
I set that standard, and your standard is not always necessarily with, a coach or a team. What's your standard? Are you holding yourself to a high standard? And for myself, rookie year, um, just being able to get a taste of the NFL and say, okay, what's my standard going to be? Because we know that this game is all about, consistency. So what's my standard? How am I going to hold myself accountable? So going into my second year and having the year that I did, I mean, I've always held myself to a high standard. So being that close to 2000 and then not reaching it, it's like, it's kind of gut wrenching because you're so close rather than being 500 yards away or 600 yards away. But the biggest thing is how we finish the end of the season.
Mhm.
I was all, the number one goal is to win a championship. And just not being able to achieve that, even though, we had, a lot of great players on that team. I mean, we were really good on paper. That's your number one thing you think about. Yes, you do think about, oh, I could have had this amount of yardage, but that amount of yardage could also equate to not even being in the playoffs. So
Mhm.
my number one thing is, what could I have done better to maybe change the outcome of one or two games? Maybe we're in the playoffs. Maybe we win two or three playoff games. So it's always, what could I have done to win more games?
It was
Utah.
a tough. It was certainly a tough ending, and where changes, were made when they came about after that for sure. Just when you work that kind of volume, both in college and in the pros, like, and I know you keep yourself in shape and all those other things, but like at some point, something's got to hurt along the way. Like at what point do you go, man, I play pro football for a living, and it's a hard game.
Oh, it's definitely a hard game. And you just talk about the physicality difference between high school and college. You can tell because you have those players in college who are NFL ready players.
Hmm.
And when you encounter a one-on-one, those tackles, you just feel a little more. You're like, okay, like that was a solid tackle. That was a solid hit. And in the NFL, every tackle, for the most part, is a solid tackle, a solid hit. So really the number one thing is it's all about what you do. I feel like before and directly after the game, a lot of times before the game, you have to make sure you prepped all week. I mean, you need to be doing prehab, rehab. You need to be taking care of your body before the game even starts. So all week leading up to the game. And then directly after the game, I feel like is the most critical time because you literally just put your body through a rigor, like one of the most treacherous things you could probably do. And a lot of guys just, go home, go out to eat, and a lot of guys have different things going on, family in town. We get that.
Hmm.
But I feel like that's one of the most critical time because you need to make sure, one, what am I putting in my body right after this game? Two, how am I treating my body right after this game to decrease this inflammation that's going to set in tomorrow? Because no matter what you do, there's going to be some inflammation to set in after you just
Hmm.
put your body through. an NFL game. So what can you do to decrease the inflammation on your body before it sets in? And I think that's something that I've done since after my freshman year of college. So after learning all freshman year about, the body and how to make sure you are doing everything you can to be in tip-top shape, that's something that I've done ever since my sophomore year of college on out is before the game, prehab, rehab, and then directly after that game, what am I doing to ensure that I'm ready to go every single weekend, whether it's a Saturday in college or a Sunday in NFL, to be ready to go.
When we had Chris McIntosh on, I asked him, he was coached by Barry Alvarez, great pedigree, Mike Holmgren. You've got Paul Crisp, and now you've got Frank Wright, two guys. Is there any commonality that you can find between those two and their methods that you can pinpoint as like, that's why that's a successful guy?
I would say one of the biggest similarities between the two is they really trust in the process. So I remember Coach Chris talking to me during my visit and telling me, we don't know how things are going to shake out. We're going to coach you. We're going to coach you, and we're going to coach you till you get it or we run out of time. And we don't know how you're going to develop as a player, but we'll have a plan and we'll work with you every single day, every single minute, every single second. And I think Coach Frank does the same thing, is being able to develop guys and trust in their process. The process has been battle tested. It's been proven that if you go to work every day, if you do these reps like this, you should be able to become a better route runner. If you do these reps like this, you should be more efficient at running the ball. So let's continue to develop you into the player that you're going to be. I feel like Coach Chris and Coach Frank, they develop you, but they let you have your own style and feel. It's not, we need to make sure you're running this route exactly like this player here on this film. Yes, we want you to hit the same landmarks, whether it's a 6-yard route, a 12-yard route. We want you to break on your second outside step, but it's going to look a little different because you're a different player. So I think when you let your players take the coaching, receive it, absorb it, and then execute it in their own way and style, you get a really unique team because you have a well-coached team, but everyone is playing disciplined football in their own unique way. I think that's the similarity between the two, is that they coach you and they let you develop, but they let you have your own style of doing it.
You do that pretty well, I would say. Both of those guys were quite happy with you. All right, we will wrap it up with JT, Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts, and still a Badger. I got that right this time. We're back in a minute inside Wisconsin.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by Baycare Clinic, Cobblestone Creek, University of Wisconsin-Platteville, Roll Tech, Festival Foods, Capital Credit Union, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, American Family Insurance, Miller Lite, and Aaron's Company.
Helpful critiques, ideas, great stories, people we should know, the great bar in your town, the fish fry you want to know, the fish boil, anything that you want to reach out to us with. We are happy. We are here. You can be the inputters. We're here to listen.
JA Wisconsin is hesitant to call a warmer temperature summer because you can't plant plants here until like after Memorial Day. It just stays cold for a while, but I think we're safe. I think it's summer. Yes?
Yeah, I'm willing to listen. I want as much of it as I can. So if I push it a little bit, I'm okay on either side.
Yeah. I don't know about your favorite summer pastime, but mine is grilling. I love charcoal grilling. I'm going to share my screen here for a second.
You're such a man. You like to go in the woods and hunt, and then you like to make fire, and then you like to.
Yeah, look at this.
Oh, I'm looking.
Okay, stand by.
I'm seeing yet.
Share screen. Look at this. What do you see?
Beer coal.
Beer coal. Miller Lite has released, and it's sold out with like seconds.
Really?
Miller Lite, yeah. And they were supposed to launch more, but then they didn't. I'm not knocking them. I just really would have loved to grab this beer-infused charcoal. Beer-infused charcoal from Miller Lite.
Some folks go for the mesquite flavor. Some people like your applewood smoked bacon. What you would like is your 96-calorie Miller Lite smoked ribeye or
worse.
whatever you can have.
That's my kind of summer tradition.
Wow,
I wouldn't dare run the grill without a Miller Lite in my hand, but by golly, now you can have it literally in the grill and everything smells like Miller Lite at the same time.
Well, and then I figure if you pre-boil your brats in beer, I mean, that's like a trifecta right there, isn't it?
I literally was going to say trifecta. I like it a lot.
I'm telling you, these people just put Kingsford out of business. That's a hell of a thing.
Next time you're getting ready to enjoy cold ones with your crew, go to
Cold ones or
MillerLite.com.
cold ones, did you just say?
Cold, COLD
Okay.
ones. But
Not COAL.
hey, based on that, yep.
Now I'm confused. All right.
MillerLite.com /Inside Wisconsin to find delivery options near you. You can also pick up Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It is indeed Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. John,
I bought
can you
some at a pet store the other day.
Tell me more. Really?
You said it's available anywhere.
They sell beer anywhere they sold beer at your pet store. And here I thought Wisconsin had it all together. We are back inside Wisconsin. Trevor Thomas, John Anderson, and Jonathan Taylor with the Indianapolis Colts, and still a Badger. I'm really not gonna live that down, am I? All right, a few for me here,
nice
JT. What now, John?
We've been nice to you. We pointed it out and we've moved on. You should.
So far, I probably should. Yeah. So far, so good. All right, a few for me, JT. Here we go. So we had Chris McIntosh, the athletic director now at the University of Wisconsin, on last episode, and he talked a little bit about the social scene in Madison. So without going too deep, JT, what was your favorite part of the social scene in Madison?
Oh, it has to be the Terrace. I mean, the Terrace is elite. Like going out on the Terrace with some cheese curds, I'll have a lemonade, and just looking at the beautiful view, it is second to none. And mind you, it's a complete 180 from the winter where Wisconsin gets bashed. Oh, it's so cold. And then you tell them, okay, come in the summertime. I'll take you to the Terrace. We'll get you some cheese curds, and then I'll hear your response.
We're going to use that one-liner. Come to the Terrace. We'll get you some cheese curds, and we'll hear your response. That's beautiful. All right, last one for me. What is your favorite Madison non-football memory? I mean, you were there for 3 full years. You clearly made a lot of memories on the field, but take us back to one of your favorite memories off the field with being in Madison, Wisconsin.
I would say one of my favorite memories would probably be getting my first moped. So just being from a small, we're not used to riding mopeds. So walking into campus, you see everyone riding on a moped. Like, oh yeah, this is how everyone gets around. You either walk or you have a moped. I mean, unless you have a car, but you use a moped. Everyone has a moped. So riding off the lot in my first moped and just staying inside of this. It was like an empty parking lot, and just getting used to riding a moped. Like I've never had a motorized bike. That's how I thought of it, a motorized bike. So just getting used to how it feels, how it turns. At first my turns were a little stiff. I couldn't really turn the moped, but that was so fun. It was almost like getting a new car, but it was the first vehicle that I've ever purchased, and it was just so much fun and exhilarating because I'm riding on a moped. I've never done this before.
Can you imagine seeing Jonathan Taylor tootling around Madison his junior year when he's like killing it on the field without a helmet on a moped? JT, get a helmet on.
Yeah.
You can't afford to lose.
Freedom of the road, though, right, man? Just the world expands through you. Your world gets so much bigger when you can get going like that.
Good stuff.
All right, here we go. These are quick. All right, we're gonna bang them out. First off, does anybody ever call you anything other than Jonathan or JT? Are you ever a John or a Johnny or anything like that?
My family members will call me Jay, like Jay, Jay.
Just Jay. Okay. Better JT, James Taylor, Justin Timberlake.
I got to go with JT, Justin Timberlake. I have to go with Justin Timberlake.
All right, I'm not mad at you. We have an age gap. It's okay that I might go there. And shout out, by the way, to the PGA Championship winner, Justin Thomas, also JT.
Yes.
So give me the best Badger running back from New Jersey.
Got to go with Ron Dane. I mean, I mean, just
Okay.
unstoppable.
Good. I'm going to say this because Trevor, I don't know that he's going to be in this. It happened before 1983. Give me the best running back in the NFL from your high school.
Lydell Mitchell.
Trev, do you know Lydell Mitchell?
Never heard of him.
He was one of the all-time great Colts.
Huh.
He started it all.
Right, with our boy Burt Jones and Roger Carr and the like. So given that he was number 26, how do we get 23 in Madison? How did I get 28 in Indy?
So I had 28 my freshman year of high school, but that was the last time I've had 28. I had 23 from my sophomore year on out. Then once I left college, I was back in 28. Kenny Moore has 23. So I was back in 28. So I just stuck back with my roots where it all started. Freshman year,
Nice.
28.
What was your second best sport?
Track and field.
What'd you run?
I ran the 100-meter, 200, and the 4x1.
Never stepped up to the 400, were you? Never quite brave enough.
They tried. They tried. It was might have been a little too far.
They always say if you want to see a whole track team run like hell and disappear, ask for volunteers for the 4x4. Gone. Guys will move faster than you've ever seen in your life.
You got to be a different breed. The 400, you got to be a different breed to run the 400.
Yeah, not good dudes. That's what I have for you, man, other than to wish you good luck, and we can't wait to see you on the field. Have a good summer, get through OTAs, training camp, stay healthy, ice. I would suggest on the nutrition thing, right, maybe less toppers and cheese curds.
Yeah, I'm going to slow down on that. I'm going to slow down on that, definitely.
Yeah, that does not scream Tom Brady's TB12 diet, which is okay. I'm fine with that. But good luck to you. Good luck with another new quarterback, and hopefully you guys end strong, and we'll see you in the postseason. That'd be great.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you having me on today.
I'm going
Cheers,
to
JT. We'll talk to you soon.
Lydell Mitchell, too, when we get done here.
I'm on it. John, I clearly didn't know you when you were the college age, but could you tell that JT was literally like he would have been a year out of college had he stayed all 4 years? That dude's got it together.
Yeah, that's a mature guy. I can see where if I'm the coaching staff at Wisconsin and he shows up with that kind of diligence and that kind of study and that kind of maturity, that I would trust that guy.
Yeah, he dialed in.
Yeah, and Steve Levy and I always joke that the lanyard would have been the greatest invention if I'd have had one when I was in high school, in college, because I just wanted to figure out not losing my keys. Right. So if I can put that around my neck, like I'm literally some sort of an animal that I keep them on, like that's what I needed. At that age, I needed a lanyard. That would have been improving my life. That guy, miles ahead of me. And still taking classes, man. Just knocking out trying to get towards that degree. That's just an impressive human being who happens to play football.
Yeah, dialed in. And his story about jump around, like it was the one moment where he realized how many people were there because he wasn't so tunnel focused what was going on in the field.
Yeah, and I love that because he's right. There are people you see them when they show the opposing team, and they're somewhere and they're doing the jump around. They're just bouncing around. You're like, I'm sure they're going to see that in film, and the coach is just going to absolutely roast their behind for that. But you can't help. Listen, it's infectious. You can't help but get caught up on it. And when in Madison, do as the Madison folks do.
Dialed in. Hey, we are dialed in on June 16th. We are literally 1 week away from this episode till you are back here in Wisconsin.
It's
in
true,
Green Bay.
John, Wisconsin.
It is the John, Wisconsin. John is coming back to Wisconsin. Not that you're never back here, but this is a big deal, Jay. You and I did this back in 2010 and 2011. It was the John Anderson bobblehead night. And in 2011, you brought John Henson with you from Wipeout. Man, that was a blast.
So tell them. So this was when you were at the Bullfrogs.
Yeah,
and we did a fundraiser with the Bullfrogs, who are now the Rockers, and we're the Booyah. We kind of gone that, but the Rockers. So they're having us in. This is not just John, Wisconsin. It's an inside Wisconsin night at the ballpark. So you and I will be out there. We're going to put together a show. We're going to shake hands. We've got special one-time jerseys that the team will be wearing that we'll auction off for charity, our charity. And, we'll be there to sign those or do whatever you want with those things, hopefully. But and hopefully we'll raise a bunch of money. And then we will, through our charity, the Anderson Family Charitable Foundation, then we will take that money and probably a little more. And we're going to hand it over to a place that people need to know about and should learn about, called the Production Farm, which is just an unbelievable organization.
Yeah, the Production Farm here in Northeast Wisconsin, 100% dedicated to the behavioral and mental health of kids. We're talking like 6-7-year-old kids up until they literally start adulthood in their late teens, early 20s, 100% dedicated to behavioral and mental health of kids. John, when you said that this is where you chose to give the funds from the Anderson Family Charitable Foundation, I was overjoyed because there isn't more need in any category for kids than this one, man.
It's really important, and it's funny because we did it off air in the last episode with Chris McIntosh, and we just kind of got in the conversation aside and said, how important it is to you see these athletes in college are struggling with mental health, and some of them have taken their own lives, which is just gut-wrenching at that age. And he said it is the most important thing on his plate. And I wish we had talked more about that, and perhaps in another time when he's back on, we can do that. But he said there's nothing more important to him than that right now with the safety and health of his athletes, because you get the trainer that can tie him up, right? Like you break a knee or you get an ACL. We know how to repair that. This other thing is such a mystery, and it's so hard, and it's so much. And he said he cannot throw enough resources at it. And that's why we're happy to be with the Production Farm, because they are people that are throwing not only resources at it, but time and expertise and just sounding boards in an ear. And they do such good work. So we're happy to be back. We're going to do that. And with a little luck, we will. I have this from when you did our work at with the Bullfrog. So hopefully we will have a giant check for them. And if not a giant check, I got to make sure. If not, hopefully a giant amount that we can.
More than that,
we can do that. So, and as I say that, I think of you for your help. And is this signature still on there? The late Jeff Royal, who also was instrumental in that and used to own that ball club. And obviously he's no longer with us, but was certainly great to our organization. And as I like to do, we like to, even though I'm in Connecticut, I like to stay current. I like to be at home and help at home where I can, because that place raised me. So let's make sure we try to help raise whoever's there now and make the place a better place and a better community. And the Production Farm people are doing that, and the Rockers are doing that by helping us as well.
We would love to see you out. June 16th, 6:35 first pitch, the Green Bay Rockers here in Green Bay. The gates open at 5:35. John, myself, will be there. It's Inside Wisconsin night, again, to benefit the Production Farm. There's nothing better. Go to greenbayrockers.com. You can get tickets and find out more. We would love to see you. I love how you put that, John. Let's help raise kids like you.
Scott Rathlisberger will be out there. He's one of my best buddies of all time. Grandma Audrey is his nickname. So you got to come out and see Grandma Audrey as well.
Did he buy an entire section the way the meeting
made it sound? I don't know exactly his season ticket situation out there. I know he's I think he works the gate and does some things, but just a really great guy. Taught for many years with the special education kids at Doty Elementary. So he's just a good guy in the community.
That's fun.
And by the way, I think you see his son, right? Isn't Brad Rathlisberger in the weatherman there?
Channel 5 with my buddy Luke. Yep,
that's Grandma Audrey's boy right there.
That's awesome.
And his daughter is the all-time leading scorer in St. Norbert's hockey history.
Where do you keep all of this information?
And by the way, he personally has caused me more trouble and more fixes on SportsCenter than anyone I know, because his name is Scott Rathlisberger. And then the Steelers drafted Ben Roethlisberger, and it's spelled exactly the same way. And so Ben screwed it up.
Oh, get on that, Big Ben. Make the change.
I don't know if any of that's going to make this show, but it should, because Rathlisberger, great guy. Roethlisberger, just
retired.
Mispronounced. Retired. All right. Do the thing where you tell people to stay classy or whatever it is.
Yeah, stay classy, San Diego, and as you were, Wisconsin. We'll see you June 16th. Get out there.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by Bay Care Clinic, Cobblestone Creek, University of Wisconsin-Platteville, Roll Tech, Festival Foods, Capital Credit Union, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, American Family Insurance, Miller Lite, and Aaron's Company.
Shut up and sit down.